Hi, I'm back. I was preparing for a workshop and teaching one down in Zion Canyon, and so I didn't have time to do a demo earlier. So this time I'm going to do a little one on how to get the most out of your pointed round brush. This is an excellent watercolor tool, and it's been around for a long time. It used to be that the only one you could get that had a really good tip was a Kolinsky red sable. Now the red sable came to a really fine tip like these do. Let's see, where's it? There, you can see it the best. And it has a good body down here for holding a lot of water, and then it comes to a really fine tip. The only problem with the Kolinsky red sable was the cost. They were very expensive. One like this, around $89. Number 12. I use a 12, an 8, and a 4. The difference, however, is here. This is about $17. When the tip finally wears out on this, and it will, I have no problem letting go of it. But if I paid $89 for it, I'd have to hire somebody to pry that out of my fingers. That pushes the cost even higher. So I go with these synthetic hair combinations. These are just excellent. All right. If you think that if you grip it like you do a pen or pencil, like this, you don't have any control. You just think you do. But the fact is, you only have control to make one short little stroke at a time. That's not very good control. In fact, that's a limiting factor instead of a control factor. So let me show you what this brush can do. Number 12. First, I'm going to show you a little how I load the brush. I've developed a habit of loading the brush. I mix up a puddle of paint here, and then I drag the brush through the puddle like that, and then rotate it between my finger and thumb like that, and take off like a plane, leaving it. And then I move it over, transfer it to my left hand, and hold it vertically. So in my left hand, I can move it then over to my right hand, place it in the fingers, and I can pull a nice straight line of even width all the way across and maintain the width of the line by either pressing down a little wider, pulling up for a very thin line, and look at the control you have. Excellent control. Notice that when I'm doing this, I'm holding the brush with my fingers and thumb, a little stability there with that finger, or brace with a little finger, a pinky, or right on the knuckle, whatever is most comfortable for you. And the brush and the fingers and the hand are locked into one position. It's the arm that moves it. And I maintain the thickness or thinness of it by pressing down, pulling up. Now, let me show you what you can do with that. Let me just load this a little bit more. Again, I transfer it over, pull up here. If I go thin, I can press down for a thick line, come back up for a thin, stab, what a lot of control that gives you. That's almost so fun to do it, you know, just pressing and pulling and twisting. Dance with the brush on the surface of the paper. It's a beautiful dance. You know, bum, bum, notice the brush is not waggling back and forth like this as it would if you did this. It's staying in a vertical, or sometimes lay it down a little bit more to get a really wide brush stroke, then back up vertical for a thin. Isn't that fun? That's just, to me, that is just a lot of fun. Now let's just look at the application of this. In fact, let me just suggest something for you. Let me suggest that you do a little practice of thin to thick to thin to thick again to thin, thick, just to get the feel of pressing down and lifting up for a variety of line width. Then if you want, you can drag this thing sideways like this. Now I'm holding it at an angle, dragging it sideways, and then vertical again for a very thin line. Okay, that is fun. That's just having a wonderful dance on the surface of the paper with the brush. It's great. You just don't get that kind of a dance holding it like in a vice-like grip for writing. Okay, now let's just show you the application of that. Somewhere here. Yeah, there it is. I've done a small drawing. I'll just demonstrate here of a little. I'll lay down some area for a tree. Let's see. This is the foliage, the massive foliage. I'll drag my brush into I'm kind of rough on brushes. So to me, they're a tool. And when the tool wears out, I can buy a new one. It's not a big deal. Right now I'm going to build a little bit of shadow down in here. And why not? Oh, that's all right. I could get carried away with this, but I look at the overall shape of the foliage and yeah, that's nice. And I'll speed dry this thing so that I don't drag my hand through it. I'll get my hand wet and then I'll drag the paint other places. I want to show you the linear work on top of it. I think for our purposes that's probably dry enough. Let's take this. This is number 12. I'm going to load it up with a good rich deep. And first I'm going to drag this way for the trunk. Then I'll come up vertically. And let's see here. Press down for a thick, and the limbs get a little thinner as they go out away from the main trunk. So we just have to raise the brush up. And I can virtually do all of this with the number 12. And have fun here. A lot of limbs. What I notice is a lot of people in doing things like trees tend to either try to fill in between the lines, or the lines, the limbs or branches get fat out here, and it, instead of thinner and thinner, now let's really go to the tip of this. You notice that these aren't, trees don't do that. You've seen that, I know you have. That's just a symbol for one thing that happens in a tree branching. Yes, you will get a 45 like that one, but then you get all kinds of other things. I look for branches that do something I wouldn't expect, like one coming out horizontally. And instead of all of them heading for the sky, how about some that head for the ground? You'll see that. I even use this for, instead of trying to search for my rigger, which I do have, and it's somewhere in my, oh, there it is. Let me show you that. The rigger will do some really fine lines, but it only will do the same width. I can't get a thick and thin line like this with it. It's great for this little stuff out here, but even this I hold vertically, not like this. You can't get a nice long thin line if you're holding it like a pencil. I'm going to show you a little bit here of, let's say we've got an old barn here. And shape of ground in the foreground here. We'll let that move back. This is just for demonstration purposes, not intended to be a nice painting. What I'm going to do here is show you a telephone pole. I don't like perfect telephone poles. I think they're kind of ugly. They're all the same width all the way down, so I like to vary it as though light's hitting it a bit. And now let's take that number 12. Can we do a line thin enough for a telephone wire with that? I'll get rid of some of the excess water in there on a paper towel. And then using the very fine tip, and that's kind of wet, so I'll turn it around so I can have an easy flow. There are fine lines. And we'll even add a dark doorway. Okay, that should do it. Thank you for watching, and I hope you found this enjoyable. If so, please click the little subscribe button, and you'll be notified every time I come back on and do a little demo. Hey, thanks a lot. Have a great time, and enjoy this pointed round brush.